Hello, in this video we will show how to transmit power from the transmitter input to the receiver output using the Powermat 24-volt demo. This 24-volt 200-watt output wireless power transfer system receives the power at the transmitter input from a 48-volt power supply, converts it into magnetic field, jumping over the gap to the receiver, and the receiver PCBA then converts it back to 24 volts up to 200 watts at the output to any kind of load, 24 volts, 9 ampere. To operate the system, we will take the transmitter and we will place it against the receiver. We can choose from several placements, from 15 millimeters coil to coil all the way to 20 millimeters coil to coil. And on the radial movement, we can either place them one against the other or move them aside, also 15 millimeters aside. Once we have chosen our favorite misalignment, we will secure the transmitter onto the base of the receiver jig, and we will move on to connecting the power supply to the transmitter and the load to the receiver. For the sake of this demo, I chose to load the device with an electronic load set to constant current mode to 9 ampere. We can already turn the load on or turn it on later, doesn't matter. Now we will configure the power supply to 48 volts. We'll give it at least 5 or 6 ampere. And now we can go on and turn the system on. Once we turn the system on, the LED on the transmitter side turns on the receiver side as well. And we can see that the system draws 9 ampere, around 24 volts, 213 watts. The input power is 226 watts. We can see 13 watts waste. So the efficiency is very high. This is how the system works. In this case, I increased the coil-to-coil distance to 20 millimeters, and we can turn the system on again. We can see that after turning the system on, this is the power supply, this is the input power, this is the output power, and we can see the system here working, transmitting power. We can turn the load off and back on. There are 3 things we have to keep in mind not to do when we operate the wireless power transfer system. 1, not to move it while the system is active. If we want to move to another point of alignment, to a different setup, we first have to turn the system off and then move it, and only once it is secured, turn it back on. 2nd, do not insert any metal between the transmitter and the receiver coil. And 3rd, just like with any other electronic system, it is recommended not to touch the system with bare hands while it is on.